Hello everyone. Today's session is about mapping an Active Directory user's home directory to Centrestack so you can access it from browsers and remote devices. To get started, let's create a new Active Directory user. So let's call it T1U0405 and give it a set of credentials so we can use it to log in to the Centrestack server. So the goal here is the user has a default home directory on one of the file server, and we want to connect that home directory to the user's home directory in Centrestack. There are multiple ways to get it done. So today we will be using a PowerShell way, which is the most flexible way to get it done. We can also use, let's say, the Active Directory profile. In the user's profile in the Active Directory, there's a connect the user's drive ladder to a specific UNC path. You can do that as well, but this is more flexible, so you don't have to set things up in Active Directory if you didn't already do so. So let's go ahead and load the Active Directory module, and then now there's a helper function called get local storage with pass-through authentication. So then you just specify the storage location, and now you can get back a storage config, which is a base 64 encoded string. So now this is the user's home directory. So let's create a subfolder here so we can know immediately when we are in this folder. We know it's we are in the user's home folder. So we just created a folder to as kind of like a marker, so we know immediately when we are there. So what we are going to do is we need to log in first in order to manipulate and manage the Centrestack system. You first need to log in as the administrator, either the cluster administrator or the tenant administrator. So now we log in as the administrator here using PowerShell. And so we are going to get back a logging structure, data structure. So this data structure is going to have a cookie field, which is the login token. So once we get the login token, we can go ahead and do add GCE user by UPN. So UPN, I think it's universal principal name, which is one of the Active Directory user property, uniquely identify the user. So now we will call this function, and this function takes a few parameters, and one of the most important parameter is the storage configuration string. So we are basically using PowerShell here to map a user, an Active Directory user, by its UPN to a specific storage location. So that storage location will become the user's home directory in the Centrestack system here. So what are we doing here? What we are doing is we are using PowerShell to map a storage location, like a UNC path, to an Active Directory's home directory in the Centrestack system here. So it's very flexible, because now what you can do here is you could use PowerShell to query the Active Directory users and then set them up and map them to a specific storage location. So now the add GCE AD user by UPN has returned, and then the result is true. So now let's try to log in. So now I can log in with the same account name, which is the short formed, some people will say it's pre-NT4 username. So UPN, same account name, that's all good. So you can see here the T1U0405 home dir shows up. So that tells us the connectivity is done and it's mapped correctly. Thank you. Bye.